Then if you don't want to choose life,
Sunday wind down, either with the voice on the speaker, Sunny on the mic and it's all round. Conversations are bigger, so fill my cup, fill my cup. I'm already tuned in all the way up, all the way up. Can't stop listening now. Sunday wind down, yes you know I'm listening. Good vibes in the evening. Yes, you know I'm listening. Sunday wind down. Yes, you know I'm listening. Good vibes in the evening. Yes, you know I'm listening. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay when I hear your voices. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay when I hear your voices. Working from Monday to Sunday, 7 o'clock till I'm worn out. Hustle, I can make an anthem. Give me a break, let me walk out. Trying my best to stay sober all over the weekend. I know grass is only greener when you water. So after the grind, I go. Sunday wind down. Yes, you know I'm listening. Good vibes in the evening. Yes, you know I'm listening. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay when I hear your voices. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. Sunday wind down, baby. I'm okay.
Hey guys,
Hi, welcome to the Sunday Wind Down podcast. I'm your girl Ida Alicia.
and I'm DJ Sunny Sistuki.
Yes, this is Sunday Wind Down where we talk about real issues
We learn from each other. We
We-
drink wine.
or whiskey. Today it's wine.
Cheers.
Today it's wine, guys.
And sometimes we laugh a little.
And we learn from each other. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is episode what, Sunny? Boom.
7.
Episode 7, season 3.
Three.
Yeah, welcome. Today we are talking about, is it positive mindset or emotional avoidance? We'd love to hear from you. Go ahead and share. Tag your friends. Tell them we're live, y'all. We do this once every other Sunday. So come on.
Yep, once
Yeah,
every
now.
2 weeks, like a paycheck.
Come a paycheck. Come a paycheck.
Yep.
That's a good one, eh?
Uh-huh.
You can't forget your paycheck. Don't forget about the Sunday Wind Down podcast. Shout out to Akinya Boge. We see you, sis. She's always the first one to tune in as soon as we
On
go
time,
live.
every time.
Nakwambia, akona alarm. Don't play.
Yeah.
Akinya Boge, we see you, baby.
We have Fern Elizabeth in here.
Oh, sis, we
Yep.
missed ya. How
we
you
have
doing?
Brenda BK in here. We're talking about a lot of good things today.
Yeah.
And at first, when I thought about this thing, at the emotional avoidance, there's so many strong words like positive mindset, emotional avoidance. Like it's like, ooh, yeah.
Like, what are you driving to? Eh?
Yeah.
Emotional. It's like what? So yeah.
It sounds like one of those, one of those things that people post in their story when they've just broken up or just got a new boyfriend.
Wow.
And they want a message to go out and it's like you when people post on their stories.
Yeah.
And they are like, it's meant for if the shoe fits. Like one of those.
Listen,
social
put the
media
shoe
things.
on. Yes. No, I mean emotional avoidance. I mean, if we avoid talking about emotional avoidance,
Then we are practicing emotional avoidance.
are we not practicing emotional avoidance?
But isn't that positive?
Is it a positive mindset though? We did not avoid emotions. It sounds so complicated, but we are going to break it down for you. We're going to kind of make it like, you know how they say layman's language. We're going to break it down to a way we understand it. We are in no way professionals. We learn, we go digging for information, and we share it with you. And like we said, Sunday Wind Down Podcast loves to learn from you as well. Shout out to, I see BK saying she'll come back for her dress. Please don't tell everybody I borrowed your dress. I am dressed by Beluga Amani. Make sure you follow her on Instagram and go to our website. You'll get this dress fancy. I love it. Check my Instagram post. This dress is a killer.
Me, I'm dressed by Target.
Wow. These shorts look like Walmart.
They can't see my shorts.
Yeah, thank God.
There's a t-shirt.
But yeah, cheers to everybody who's tuning in. So Sunny, what is emotional avoidance, or what did you in your search? What did you learn about this?
Honestly, I didn't search. I didn't do any research.
Okay, cut. Let's go home then.
But as I thought about it, I'm not saying so I didn't do any research, but I felt like I want to give like what I think about it.
Well, go
you
for
know?
it. Mm-hmm.
So emotional avoidance, when I think about it, to me it feels like it's people trying to not express themselves the way they feel, right? And maybe being a little bit like hiding their emotions, hiding their feelings, and not quite letting other people in, like putting a barricade.
And you're right. And a lot of times you find that people don't usually hide good emotions. When you're talking about emotional avoidance, you find that good emotions, they express happiness and joy and all these things, but there's 4 exceptional emotions that you find that people hide a lot. And one of them is anger, sadness, or heart. And the other one is fear. Sadness and heart go line in line. So I'd say 3 emotions, right? So anger, sadness, or fear, and sadness or heart and fear. Those are the 3 emotions that people tend to.
You're saying hurt as in like being hurt, not heart
Yes,
as in having a heart.
this one is going to correct my accent. Eh? Please,
No, I'm
heart.
trying to understand.
H-U-R-T. How do you
Oh,
say
thank
the
you.
word?
Yeah, I thought you meant Heart.
What's the difference? Are you hurting?
Okay, so anger or hurt.
Sadness or hurt?
Oh, sadness or hurt.
Hey, mtu lazima roll R. Hurt.
Okay.
Anger
Uh-huh.
is it stands alone, and then fear stands alone. I said sadness could also go hand in hand with heart. Okay. So you find that people develop a coping mechanism when it comes to these emotions. Like you pretend like positive vibes because you don't want to show these emotions. I don't know if you know people like those.
I think we all kind of do that sometimes.
Oh yeah, well we are all suffering from, apparently it's a disorder. I was reading and I was like, what? It's called avoidant personality disorder. It's like, what?
I think nowadays everything is labeled a disorder.
No, but I think they mean that when you do it to the extreme.
Yeah.
Like it's okay. Sometimes I'm angry and I'm like, I'm not gonna show anger. It is what it is. I'm just gonna let it slide. I don't think that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
And I think it's to the extreme.
Or like to say, let's just say if you're at work, I just thought of like an example. I'm gonna throw something out there. Say you're at work and your boss pisses you off. Then and when they come and they ask you, hey, what do you want, or ask you a lunch question or something completely unrelated to when they just pissed you off earlier. And you don't want to show them that you're pissed off. And you just say, no, everything's fine. And you pretend to put on this facade.
No, you tell them, "Cash me outside." How about that?
Yeah, but some people don't.
Of course you can't say that.
And maybe you're masking your emotions in the whole light of trying to be positive.
And you're right.
Now, should you continue being positive, or should you tell your boss how it is? You piss me off.
I think in different situations. I mean, so personally, I don't know. I have come to understand that I'm not very good at hiding my emotions, even when I try. I may not say anything, but my face will show that I'm not okay with you.
True story.
And nobody said you should validate or need this statement, but like it is what it is. Like, with me, it's, this is how I feel, right? And I feel even at work, when like somebody pisses you off, I would be like, well, I don't agree with that. We don't necessarily have to have a conversation, but I'll just tell you, well, I think that's not right, and just end it there. But like you're saying, there's some situations that I guess it's okay to kind of avoid that emotion at that point. If you're just not agreeing on something and it's work-wise, I'm not gonna have to make you sit down every time to talk about something. You know what I mean? Like you're not that petty. You know what I mean?
When you just mentioned like it's hard for you to hide your feelings, it shows on your face. It made me realize something, that it's almost a blessing that you can't hide it. Because if you are having back and forth with someone or a conversation, whatever, if you're communicating with someone and you're not showing your sincerest emotion with that communication, then are you doing the other person a disservice by making them feel like something is what it's not.
You do have a point, yeah.
So in a way, it's a good thing.
It may, I think, entirely the whole picture. I think it's a good thing that you're not able to hide emotions, like that I'm not able to hide emotions. But sometimes it puts you in such a situation. People are like, oh, so you're angry about that? I'm like, I'm not angry. I just don't agree. And then now people are pushing you to talk about it because just your face said, you know. But I guess what we're talking about now is the in the bigger picture, the emotional avoidance in an aspect where it even becomes a disorder.
Okay.
So, and I think in this situation, it says, what is avoidance? Is the attempt to avoid thoughts, feelings, anything related to internal feelings or external reminders. And this also happens when it comes from a place of, say, trauma, for example. Like, for you, you're purposely avoiding that. Because, okay, so let me tell you, for example, I was in an accident when I was in high school. And it was like a school bus. We were a lot of us. In the moment when, I mean, it was a really bad accident. We killed 5 people. Not me, but the driver. Like, you know how bad that is.
Yeah.
5 people. It's big, yeah? So for me, in the moment, I didn't react. Like, people were screaming and everything. For me, I helped move people from the bus. I was like, because the bus started smoking. And people were screaming and everybody is sitting. You know how, we're in high school, right? And so, we got out of the bus and everything, right? And when you got out of the back, high school buses, the door is at the back. It's not on the side. Well, some of them. For ours, it was in that case in the back. So when you come out of the back, you would see like half a human. I mean, the half of the body. I mean, it was bad. Like seeing that was, whoo. And then after we got out of the bus, for me, my pain hit like after. I was like, oh shit! I got a panic attack. I could not believe. Like, but we'd already come out of the bus. But I'll say this: being in a vehicle from that point on was really hard for me. It's not like I was driving, I was in high school, but just driving, mostly like when I drive near where like there's a window, I'll be like I don't want to look at outside, It took a while. So this is what they mean. In my situation, that being in a vehicle after that accident reminded me of this traumatic situation. And so was I avoiding that? But I mean, you can't avoid being in a matatu and you use them every day. You know what I mean? But I had to find a coping mechanism where I would not sit near the window and every time I would look down or on my phone or at a book, not see the road, not see the movement.
So are you saying that you avoided the emotion, the fear that came with that? You were trying your best to avoid feeling that same fear again?
Yes. But they say it comes with trauma. Like anybody who has experienced any kind of trauma, you would avoid possibly the road, the area, or the matatus. If you used to drive, some people will stop driving for a season in time, and that's okay. But it becomes a problem when you decide you're never going to drive again. You can give your time healing. I mean, yourself time to heal.
Yeah.
Which is okay in every human situation. Or even just experiencing flashbacks, people, places, the people you are with, you're like, damn, we were in an accident together,
Yeah.
Stuff like that, that's what I mean.
So is it better to talk about it or is it better to try and cope with it by yourself? Or what do you think? I mean, I
think to talk about it. I think to talk about it is best. But like, you can't avoid coping. In this case, you have to use a matatu, you have to use transportation. Like in this case, it's just going to be, you have to do it. But I think the best thing, we did get counseling from school. My mom got me from school also because, high school in Kenya. No, she'll be okay. We took them to hospital. I mean, my knee was so painful. Even today, like when it gets really cold, I don't even know which knee anymore. But when it gets cold, I know I feel the pain in the knee still, So in the long run, it left some kind of pain. But now I drive. I hate driving, but I still will drive. Does it make sense?
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I mean, you're kind of over it.
Yeah.
But you're not.
But I am not. Am I?
That's what... Because like you said, your knee hurts. It reminds you of that accident. Things like that. But you figured out how to cope with it. And so for some people, the trauma could be something even bigger.
Yeah.
For some people, it's something minor. Yours, like, I might call it medium.
We are seeing some comments. Let's read a few comments here. I know Akinya Boga said, I guess sometimes a seemingly positive mindset may be a mask to avoid certain emotions. And I mean, that's it. The podcast is done. You just wrapped it up. I mean, yeah, really, that's it. And then I also see Mean Prince said, when we're talking about masking your emotions when you're at work, she said, well, you may keep it inside, then explode later, then get fired.
Yeah.
Which is kind of true there. I completely agree with you.
And I think it comes down to how you decide to express yourself emotionally. And also how, if someone is expressing themselves emotionally to you, how you decide to respond to it. So it goes both ways. Based off of that comment, it kind of makes me think about it in that sense. So, like, let me take an example of I fell as a child and I hurt myself. And I'm crying and I'm limping, right? Now, most immigrant families, you know how it would go.
Beat you.
Yeah.
Why are you falling?
Yeah,
It's like,
and why
I
are you
don't
crying
know.
or why are you limping? Walk straight.
Yeah.
Oh, I hurt my knee. You're just trying to get attention or whatever, right?
Yeah,
So there's one way. So obviously, as a child, you can't. You let them express themselves the way they want to.
Yeah.
But let's say if this was an adult that hurt themselves and was limping, then someone may think this person is seeking attention. Whereas you are definitely hurt and that's why you're limping.
Yeah.
So how do you express yourself in a way that doesn't look like you're seeking attention? And how does the other person take in what? Because if you say, I'm going to be positive and I'm going to keep hurting and I'm not going to limp.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, but it is what it is. Like we said, you cannot avoid coping with some kind of pain. In that sense, you cannot avoid limping.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But in a bigger picture, again, there's like symptoms we were reading about, symptoms of emotional avoidance. How do you know that you have this problem that is called emotional avoidance?
Okay.
And one of them is being, I'll read it out. Social inhibition, inadequacy, and sensitivity to negative criticism and rejection. So you have a low threshold for criticism.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes criticism is okay. Sometimes people say, even if you say it in a good way or in a bad way, sometimes you can't control how somebody criticizes you.
Right.
But you can decide to be like, oh, that's what you think. Maybe I do that, but that's not my intention. But then you stop doing it in the way you do and change from the criticism. So a symptom that kind of shows that you may or may not maybe have mild or severe emotional avoidance problem is avoiding criticism. Like you won't ask, it's not like you're asking for validation, but avoid criticism at whatever cost. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so this makes me think of a situation like where I was being criticized at work. And I was being told, what's going on here? And so the way I took it this one time was like, this criticism is indirectly telling me I'm not doing my job right. And so I would get super defensive at some point. Instead of taking the criticism and saying, okay, I get it. Thank you for explaining it to me.
Yeah.
And how can I fix it? Suddenly, now I'm not sure if we can say it's pride that gets in the way or if it's a fear of being reprimanded for something that you think you did wrong, and the criticism is kind of bringing those emotions out in you.
Could be,
and you're not in check with the reality of what's really going on.
Yeah.
I used to always say this, when someone lashes out at you, or like even friends, and a friend does something that is disrespectful to you, I used to always say, they're dealing with their own insecurities. And so if they don't emotionally express themselves the right way, is it something that is going on internally that they're mirroring within themselves?
Okay. Yeah, that could be true. It could be true. It depends, yeah. Well, yeah, I think I see your point. It could be somebody projecting, but sometimes criticism could just be criticism, period. Could just be like, hey, you did this wrong, maybe you should do it this way next time, and you're like, oh, you're telling me because blah blah blah, you know what I mean? And also another factor that would contribute to that would be like if somebody has low self-esteem, they would avoid any kind of criticism, or even I will never ask, hey, is this okay, because I'm afraid you may say no, stuff like that. Or another thing would be like self-isolation. You've seen people who are just like, yeah, I keep to myself, not because you want human beings are social beings. It's not like you want to keep to yourself, entirely. Maybe because you're afraid to be corrected here and there or to be told this and this. So some people who suffer from avoidant personality disorder do that. Another one is fear to speak in social gatherings, in fear of saying something wrong or being embarrassed.
Sometimes I think that's just someone's personality, though, isn't it?
I feel like also introverts may feel like we're pointing fingers at them at this point, because some introverts have this qualities and it's part of their personality.
Yeah.
But I think we're talking to the extreme levels.
Okay.
Like, But even I'm an extrovert, but sometimes I don't speak in public settings. It's like, let me see what you all gotta say.
The criticism that you were talking about earlier. So as a DJ, right? Many DJs come out with mixes all the time. They put mixes out there, and most of the time, whatever feedback you get is positive feedback.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, that mix was fire.
Yeah.
And the person who didn't like the mix doesn't say anything. But the ones that liked it or it connected with them repost it or comment on it and stuff like that. I'm just wondering if people would actually say, man, that mix, the last one was way better. Like if someone told a DJ that,
If you know how many...
how would they take it?
Yeah, mixed emotions, because you can't be everybody's cup of tea. Some people drink coffee, some people drink wine.
Right.
So if you welcome all kind of criticism in that field, I feel like... And also you just have haters, pure haters.
No,
Like, you never know.
but my thing is, I don't think it ever happens. I don't think anyone ever tells a DJ that mix is not fire.
Yeah.
If they don't like it, they don't say anything.
Some people will obviously say something. That mix iliangusha. Oh, that mix was blah, 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 blah.
I've never come across that. Like I never have. No, not like not just towards me, but even seeing it for other DJs.
Yeah.
Even someone just starting out, and their mix was just a very rough draft, which everyone goes through that as they're starting out. No one has ever come out and publicly, man, you're mix iliangusha. I don't see that. So I'm wondering, how would like a DJ say?
I've seen, you're mixing our sound, mixed in. I've said things like those, so I don't know how many people don't say stuff like that. I know I've said, where you ungefanya. So I don't know. Anyway,
Dime Time agrees with me.
agrees that what?
Dime,
That
let
people
me-
don't say.
Do people ever say like a negative thing about a creative art, or do they just stay silent?
I know, even on my Instagram, even when you put out something, people be like, no. I'm like, yeah, my friend who asked for your unsolicited
But ni
advice.
madem wanga na manini mama moshene. You guys have a lot of moshene like that.
Listen, look at this man, woman shaming out here in this podcast. Leave us no, but people will obviously say something. You know when they say whether you do good or bad, people will talk anyway.
Right.
So you just get used to maybe when you're in the public eye, you're a public figure. Those things numb you, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just like whatever. At this point, nobody gives a shit. Yeah, you get immune to that. But how do you overcome emotional avoidance?
How do you overcome emotional avoidance?
Yeah.
How do you overcome not expressing yourself? In other words,
Yeah.
I would say try and figure out how to express yourself.
In what sense? How would I, if I can't express myself? I think maybe talking to
Look for-
close friends
Talking to close friends,
or even therapy, for
therapy,
example.
pick up on some coping mechanisms.
Yes.
But, I think coping mechanisms have to come from an identification.
Mm-hmm.
You have to identify that I am avoiding something.
Mm-hmm.
Until you identify it, you don't know how to do it. That's why I guess in AA meetings, guys say, hi, my name is, and I'm an alcoholic. Because
you
guys
identify.
they're
Ooh, I like
identifying,
that.
they're
Yeah.
saying, hey, I realize I'm an alcoholic. I realize I have a problem
Yeah.
and only I can fix it.
Yeah.
Now, with everyone's help, we can figure out how I can fix it, right? I'm not saying I'm an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm just
Well-
using that as an example.
I know, kidding.
But I think the key part of fixing someone, not fixing maybe the wrong word, of getting better at expressing ourselves emotionally is identifying the fact that we don't.
I guess you're right.
And sometimes I think different cultures don't allow for certain
Excuse me.
emotional expressions,
Yeah.
and maybe certain genders or certain social classes.
Yeah, true that. And I see a comment with somebody, Nati Neti said, sheesh, I can totally relate. I am an extrovert, but I get anxious giving presentations and doing public speaking, I guess. It's a whole process to prep. Isn't that weird? maybe that could be something else. That could be you suffer from anxiety, because I feel like I do suffer from anxiety. Do you know, this is a true story, even when I go to Chipotle, I get so anxious. You know how when somebody is telling you, what rice, what beans, blah, blah, I get so anxious. I end up choosing what I didn't want.
Just to
get out
get
of
it
the
over
situation. Even today, I swear, that still makes me anxious. That, and when a server is coming around and I have many people around me, I have no problem with that. But when like it's time for me to choose something, you see, even the ice cream place, there's so many flavors, and then I have to choose. I get so anxious. I can't choose. I mean, I cannot, unless I prepared from coming home and I said I'm having this and I'm not looking at the menu. That makes me so anxious. I always like 99.9% choose vanilla, because let me get out of this situation. And that's my way to kind of cope with my situation, because I don't know if I suffer from anxiety. I don't want to like diagnose myself, but I know that I literally sweat thinking about going to Chipotle. They're like, ma'am, what beans? I'm like, those ones, black beans. Sometimes I don't even know the damn name. I mean, I forget everything.
So let's think about this. We're just talking about coping mechanisms and identifying. So you just identify
my coping mechanism. Yeah.
So what would be your coping mechanism? How can you avoid that going forward?
I don't know. I guess prep before I go to Chipotle. Say, okay, when they ask me if I want salsa, I'll say yes.
Okay, say you didn't prep. Say you go to a brand new place. What can you do? And again, we're just thinking through this. What can you do to be in a brand new place? Everything is new. You don't know what it is. You don't know whether you want jelly beans or chocolate chips. And those are two things that came
First
to
of
my
all,
mind.
I cannot even jelly bean chocolate. Which one do you want? Just leave it. Just leave it
So
plain.
how can you take a step back and do the right thing for yourself and pick what you think you really want without getting anxious? What do you think can be some coping mechanisms there?
I think, like I said, prepare. Well, if I'm just going to a new place, I would let everybody order first. I'll say, you guys order. And then I take some time and listen to your order, somebody else's order, and then at that point, possibly order. I think that would be a coping mechanism.
Yeah. You can let someone go ahead of you while you wait and take some time.
Yeah, and Susan, Kayla's mom, she agrees with me. She says, I hate it when I am rushed, and I always tell them, hold on, I need a second. Even when I do drive-through, I ask them to wait. Hey, me, I don't even do drive-through. I guess I'm starting to realize I may have a problem. I know, like, when I go to Dunkin' Donuts, I only know, they have a huge menu. I only know bacon, egg, and cheese croissant, I think it is. Or something. It is number, I don't know, 3. And that's the only thing I've ordered from there. And it's near my job, so it's right there. When I go, I don't go to Chick-fil-A. I send people. I say, what are you having? Chicken biscuit? Okay, I'll have the same thing. I mean, I hate drive-thrus. Let me tell you, even if I prepped 20 hours before, I get to the drive-thru, ma'am, what can I get for you? I'm like, number 4. Sometimes number 4 may be halfway baked something, and I'll still eat it just because I'm too anxious. But that's another way I'm identifying my problems,
So there's a comment here that kind of puts the whole topic into a whole circle, right?
Yeah.
Akinya Boge says, I have trouble giving negative criticism because I empathize with people's feelings a lot. So let me full circle that around. Our topic is it emotional avoidance or a positive mindset? So your empathy towards someone, would it be fair enough to consider that like a positive thing to do, and therefore you're avoiding the emotion of criticizing someone?
Could be true.
I'm just trying to put
Understand it.
two and two together.
Yeah. That's true. And on the topic of like ordering, June said, I hate it when they say speak louder. Oh, imagine! I can't even believe I suffer from this stupid thing that I think I just diagnosed myself today. But another way to overcome emotional avoidance would be practice communication skills. And the one thing I think that has worked for me, because everybody, mostly when you've gone through something really big that has changed your life, or I guess your life, you have to affirm yourself so much and tell yourself you're not you're not that problem anymore. You're out of it. You're this person, right? And how to avoid feeling that emotion again, that bad emotion that took you to that bad place, is to repeat affirmative statements to yourself when you sense that this is happening. Just repeat, hey, I'm stronger than this. I got this. I know I feel angry right now because, some triggers will trigger you. Somebody will say something that I'll say an example. You'll say something that my ex used to say and would make me angry, and maybe it was a bad relationship, and I'll be like, now I'm angry, not because of what you said, because of it brought me back to a situation I was in, and what was said at that point. And so, with that said, repeating affirmative statements to yourself helps a lot. That's one thing I found that helped me.
As you say that, the other thing I realized, what I do when I go to Chipotle or something like that, and I feel anxious, I think I've come to realize I use humor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll crack a joke to the person, and it'll like lighten the situation, and it makes it seem like, oh, okay, we're all just here trying to figure something out.
Yeah.
I might say something like, geez, black beans, pinto beans, y'all got beans for days. All right, like something like that. And then, I'll crack it. So sometimes humor, I think, helps lighten the situation. But in other instances, I also think humor sometimes masks. Sometimes we've gone through this where people will make sly comments.
Yeah.
And mask it with humor.
Me, I do that too also.
Oh.
I know I do that too. Sometimes somebody will piss me off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then throw in a joke. You either catch that or you don't. Because you say that the second time, we're going to have a problem. I think I do that too.
Yeah.
Masking stuff with humor. Not so much like you or like anxiety or like Chipotle stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
There, I'm too... Like my anxiety is too hyped to like
think of a joke.
Yeah, I'm just like and then mostly like when there's people behind me.
Yeah.
I mean, I never even used to go to self-checkout because of that. Just like, but I'm alone. Now I do it. It's just like so weird.
That brings me to I hate keep dwelling on this anxiety and people in line. So normally if someone is in line, right, and and you can't make up your mind, so you tell the person behind you, go ahead in front of me. I think if someone tells you that, and you say, no, it's okay, take your time, you're making that person even more anxious that, oh, now this is a nice person I'm holding up.
Oh, you don't think that would make you feel, oh, they understand me, okay, I'll take my time?
No, I think if someone told me, hey, go ahead in front of me, I'll say, okay, thank you. And I'll just go ahead in front of them. So then this person can actually do what they want to do and why they told you to go in front of them.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes we're trying to be too nice and again trying to be this good vibe, positive. Go ahead in front of me. Oh, no, it's okay. I can wait. Yeah. Whereas you really only have a 20-minute lunch break and you're like, sure, I'm just trying to be nice here. But this guy's taking forever. And, so when someone tells you, go ahead in front of me, just freaking go ahead in front of him.
This is
Smile
true.
And be nice about it. Don't be a jerk.
Go
ahead in front of him.
You're right. I never looked at that. You're right. I will do that. I'll be like, hey, ma'am, you go ahead. Let's see a few comments. I see some comments from, what do you call that? Twitch.
From D.
Kanyede.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and read that?
Oh, yeah. I had to order this morning. Aki, I have to increase my volume. But I figure we live in this loud society and I have to conform to their standards.
It's bad, isn't it? Like, ma'am, can you speak up? I'm like, oh my God. If I speak up any louder, first of all, is it croissant or croissant? First of all, I'm not sure. And you're telling me to speak up. The people behind me can't hear me.
I went to Starbucks on Saturday morning. And I go to Starbucks every Saturday morning because I want a big kick of caffeine before I start a really busy day.
You can just buy Nescafe and keep in your house, but okay.
We have that one too, but Saturday is for Starbucks.
All right.
And I always forget their sizes.
Oh my God, but you go there every Saturday morning.
I know. So I always walk in and I say, I want your large. And I believe it's called venti, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, so can I please have a venti this, right? And it's usually a triple white chocolate mocha. And my white chocolate mocha people in the family, yeah, we're on the same page. So, and I always affirm, can I please have a large? And I believe you guys, because one time I asked for a large and I didn't say venti. And they said, oh, a large is grande. And I was like, oh.
First of all, if I get into Starbucks language, I will go crazy. You want a chai tea latte? I say, yeah, let me have a chai latte. Oh, you mean the chai tea latte? I told this woman, you're saying tea twice because chai is actually tea in Swahili. I was so pissed. You know how they try to tell you don't know what you're saying? So it's actually a chai tea latte.
They're saying tea.
Yeah, you're actually saying tea latte. So let me have a chai latte, thank you. Don't try me.
Maybe you should try that on Tuesdays.
On Tuesday. I'm done. There's more comments here. Akinyabak said, I have one personality at work, another one outside of work. I'm learning to channel my work self into my social life. Me too. Well, no, I feel like my people at work already know my personality at this point, but you kind of have to have a separate personality.
I think
for work.
I do. I definitely do.
You have different English for work also. Let's not even get into it. Overly said, hey guys, I have been listening to your previous podcast. I love topics. Oh, very informative. Thank you, dear. Thanks for joining us. She's watching on YouTube. And before we forget, this episode is also sponsored by Turmeric Magic. Turmeric Magic, baby. Don't forget to use our code Sunday Wind Down. It's a discount code. You get to take 10% off your order.
Yep, or use that QR code.
Yeah, there's a QR code if you're watching live, but if you're not and you're just listening, use Sunday Wind Down podcast code and you'll get 10% off your order.
I actually had some turmeric magic this morning.
Oh, yeah?
Because I was out till late last night.
Oh, hangover for who?
For no one, because I had turmeric magic.
Yeah, true this.
Yes. Usually, some turmeric magic gets you feeling okay, and then you take a shot, and then you continue with life.
Me, imagine, you imagine alcoholism. What do we do? Anyway, it's a topic for another day. I see Neti saying, conquer icebreakers, humor, and just a contagious smile definitely helps in putting most people at ease in whatever situation. Also, that helps you read your audience. This is true. Starbucks, this is on your Starbucks. Susan Kayla's mom said, Starbucks employees, some of them, they behave like Starbucks lingo is all they speak. I've told people off about that chai tea. Me too. It drives me insane. And then Fan says, does it help to... Fan is asking about turmeric magic. She says, does it help lose the belly? I have 18 pounds to lose before I propose in 2 months.
Why don't we use you as a social experiment?
I know.
Go ahead and order using our discount code.
Yeah.
And then let us know how it looks like in 2 months.
And well, it burns fat. So 1 plus 2
Is 2.
But let's get back to our topic. We're talking about emotional avoidance, or is it emotional avoidance or is it positive mindset? Like there's a thin line, and we're talking about emotional avoidance, and right now we're going to jump into positive mindset. What is positive mindset? Overall, this should be a great thing. It is to identify the good in all kinds of situations.
I've never thought of a positive mindset as being something negative.
Oh yeah?
You see?
Me neither.
Because it has positive in it. The word itself is positive.
You're such a fool.
No, really. No, really. Think about it. Like, until we explored this a little bit more, if I told you, Ida, you need to have a positive mindset.
I'm like, well, okay, positive mindset.
Would you have ever thought there's a negative connotation to that?
No, I wouldn't think that.
Okay.
I don't think I would think that.
Well, let's keep going.
Yeah, but I was saying, and before I even say anything, Juno Buru commented and said, some positive people are sometimes too positive. It gets exhausting. And we talked about this.
Babe, you can just tell me that later. You don't have to put in the comments.
No, she doesn't mean it that way. But remember, we sat down one time and I was giving you guys a story and I told you, I actually unfollowed somebody because they were too positive. In a sense, it was unrealistic. You remember when I told you guys that?
Yeah.
I said, well...
They didn't seem human.
Yeah, it was like, what the hell? Like, sometimes you just wake up and you're like, oh, shit, I'm just tired. I'm out of it. And then if you put that up as a post, they comment and they post, you know what's strong? Mentality, building a nation takes... I'm like, friend, just let me be. It's fine. Like, you can encourage me, but like...
Give me some more examples of those encouragement. I'm liking those.
It's like, come on. Like, like building an empire takes... strong mentality. So build your mentality. Like, don't let your brain go weak on you. I'm like, friend, I just said I was tired. I'm good. I'm not dead. I'm just tired. Like, it's just unrealistically positive. It just drives you insane. Like, are you even human at this point? Actually, when we did our research, we saw that there's something called toxic positivity. And I think that's what we're going to talk about for the next few minutes here. Toxic positivity is a thing.
I think it almost makes someone seem too robotic.
Yes.
Like, this person is a machine.
Yeah, like...
And I think people look up to that machinery.
And it's so funny you said look up to that. People will DM me. Like, if I don't know, follow you on Instagram or whatever, right?
Right.
And my personality is, oh, yes, party. That's who I am, right?
Yeah.
But when I have a bad day, I have a bad day. Like, just the same way I show it, you'll know I'm not feeling great. But don't forget, we don't post these bad days on Instagram.
Yeah.
Always. I guess me, I do sometimes. But not always. Like, I'll be like, yeah, guys, I'm having a bad day. I'm angry. These are my angles. No, that's unrealistic, you know? We don't post those bad days. So when people come to my DM, they're like, how can I be as strong as you? How can I be always positive as you? Friend, you only see half of... You see what I allow you to see.
True. And that's
So-
social media.
Yeah.
This reminds me, I was in a clubhouse room the other day. So there's this clubhouse room that has a bunch of very successful people. It's called the Breakfast Club.
I've seen that room. Yeah.
And I listen to it sometimes in the morning while I'm getting ready for work. And it's people talking about these really positive regimens that they take, that they do in the morning. Things that get their day started. Things that get them energetic. And you know, they were talking, a bunch of people, speakers, and this room normally has thousands of people.
Yeah.
And these guys are really successful, and they're talking about how I wake up at 4 in the morning and I do this. And this other guy said, I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is I take a ice bath.
Oh my goodness.
I wake up and the first thing I do is I jump in an ice bath. This other guy says, yeah, I can relate to that because I live by the beach, and at like 4 in the morning, the water in the ocean is freezing cold. So I drive to the beach and I just dunk myself in the water and I
my
come
God.
out and my whole day goes great. And everyone's talking about all these crazy things, like insane things that don't even seem human. And they probably do them, and kudos to them for doing them.
Right.
Right. And then one speaker comes on and says, man, you know, this may seem completely off, but my morning routine that gets me going is I have to take a shit.
In the morning, that's the first thing he does. He takes a shit.
Yeah, it was actually a lady, and said, if I don't take a shit, first thing in the morning when I wake up, my whole day is ruined. And this whole room, for 30 minutes, I was listening to all these different speakers, and everything I listened to, I could not relate. I
Yeah,
don't take
it's
an
just
ice
like-
bath in the morning. I don't meditate in the morning. I don't.
And some people even say, I'll swim, I'll do like a 10 laps on my pool, and then I'll come back and ride my bike. Friend, we don't have a pool. Well, some of us don't have a pool that we can go in at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then you think I'm a woman, you want, let's not even go to gender violence. You think I want to go into riding a bike in the woods at 4 in the morning?
Right.
And then come back, hey, I don't even have the energy. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
And good for them if they do
Yeah,
that.
if
You know,
it- yeah.
and usually for people who do that, they've built up to that.
over time, yeah.
So you're talking to 2,000 people here, and honestly, when this lady said, the first thing I do, I take a shit, and that's how my day gets started, I could relate. That's the first thing I do. And if I don't take a shit,
Sasa utakumia hapa mbele ya watu.
no, it's wrong biology. Now, let me
Huyu waki mkimwacha hivi anaweza waambia mavitu huku. Tusomeni comments please. Thank you. I see some good comments on here. First of all, Pyle said positive stuff with negative connotations. Getting COVID positive, not really a positive thing.
True that.
That is true.
Life has ups and downs. Pablo Nzengu. Not just the fake up that is
When it's
always
up,
posted
then
on
it's
social
up,
media.
Then it's up.
Yep. We have Angie on Twitch saying, Sunny and Ida, great conversation. A very common reason for people, especially African women, not expressing themselves emotionally is because our African culture socializes women to be timid, quiet, introverted. When said women express themselves, they are at times labeled rude, feisty,
Yes,
divas, feminists. Huh.
Me, I'm out here to break the barriers. Hey, if I think something, I think it. Y'all gonna know.
Yeah?
It's too much.
Yep. Susan,
Said-
Kayla's mom. It's like when my dad died, I realized how saying it is
well.
it is well did not help.
Yeah.
I told someone it is not well, but it'll get better. Now I don't say it is well.
Because it's not.
It's well. I get it, yeah. It reminds me, Galore Vibes agrees with me, taking a shit is important. It reminds me of growing up. Growing up when I would be in my uncle's office, right? And there are days I would know, in the family, you talk at the table.
Yeah.
There are times when things are tough. Oh, we're getting audited by tax. Oh, this is going on. There were different stresses. But every time someone walked into my uncle's office, they would ask him, oh, how are things? And his response was always, it's fantastic.
Wow.
In fact, till
a
today,
big word, eh?
yeah, if I call my uncle right now and I say, how are things? How are you doing?
Prove
His
it.
answer is going to be fantastic.
Call
right?
your uncle.
And he's always smiling. And
I'm sorry, I'm just instigating at this point.
it's 11:43 in
Call
Kenya.
your uncle. If
so-
it's fantastic, he will not be asleep.
And I looked up to that. I think that's a great thing, right? I would always think he's always smiling.
Yeah.
Everyone always knows things are going great with us, right? But in doing so, even when things are not great, and you always say things are great, and you're smiling, and you're always upbeat, are you? I thought about this recently. Are you internally lying to yourself?
Yeah, it's what we just talked about. It's you're coping with all your emotions. Like you're fighting the emotions not to come out. So you really, in real sense, you are lying to yourself. That is very interesting.
Violet Kemunto, first time here on YouTube, and she says we're awesome. Evening
Aw.
made. Thank you.
Thank
and cheers.
you.
I hope you have a
Cheers.
drink.
Yeah, here we drink. It's 4 p.m. Girl, we drink from 4 p.m. Please, in fact, let's switch that glass. I see a glass that has been untouched over there. Madam Producer is doing the thing behind the scenes, guys. I'm getting another drink.
My sister, Payal, says also women generally hold a support structure for the family, i.e. kids, spouse, parents, sibling, etc. So we typically as women tend to be the support structure for others and not letting our emotions out. And that encompasses this in another way as well. So you're using this positive mindset to mask your emotions. And I think a lot of times we do too much to mask emotions.
Yeah.
We have to understand, actually this is something I learned from my sister and how she's raising her kids. That she tells her kids that they're entitled to their feelings and emotions. And I never thought of that. A kid is entitled to their feelings. It took me a while to really, but now I have a conversation with my nieces, and if they're mad, it's okay, they can be mad.
Yeah.
If they're happy, it's okay, they can be happy.
Yeah.
If they're frustrated, it's okay to be frustrated. We take these negative feelings and we think we can't express those feelings because we will be judged, because society doesn't allow us to feel that way. And then they in turn stay within us and manifest in us in a future time. So it makes things kind of difficult.
And you're right. You're right. I was drinking water, guys. If you're listening, I was drinking water. You have to balance the alcohol in the water. Sorry, Sunny. You all right? I remember a story that. So this lady just recently posted, and we will get back to how to handle toxic positivity right after this story and a few comments. This lady was talking about. She just said, "Damn, my 4-year-old is so mean to me today," and she's like, "Oh my god!" Like that was just the first topic. Like how you just post a story and the 4-year-old was super mean. It's actually a 4-year-old girl. She was so mean to the mom. And so I guess she now this after a few hours she posted another thing and it was a whole long story. She said, now my 4-year-old was super mean, like just like a small ball of anger. It was just so bad, and that's not her personality. So the mom went back and she asked the little kid, "Hey, why are you being so mean to mommy today?" And the kid started crying. She said, "I need to understand why you're being so mean to mommy." She said, "I don't know. I just feel like being mean." Think about us growing up. If you are mean to mommy, you get a slap. Go deal with your problems.
Yep.
But it's because our culture, we didn't have all that talking in, like, hey, what are you going through, blah, blah, blah. But she talked to the kid. She said, hey, go. Even mommy has bad days. The kid said, you also feel like being mean to people for no reason. The mom said, yeah, I also feel like being mean sometimes, no reason. So the kid understood, okay, it's not such a foreign thing. But the mom says, every time you feel like this, you have to sit down somewhere and figure out what is happening, and don't be mean to people because now you're making them feel bad just because you feel bad. And she gave her like time to sit in her room for a minute. She came out, she gave mommy a hug, and she said, thank you, mommy, I feel better. But look at what she did. Look at what that girl did there. Changed her whole perspective, like for a child. From now on, the kid is 4. From now on, that kid will know how to deal with emotions. She'll be like, I feel like I want to be mean. I'm going to take 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That's okay, and she asked the mom, I forgot to mention this to you earlier. She asked the mom, so even you, mommy, you feel like being mean to people for no reason? The mom was like, yeah, sometimes I feel like that too. Like making it a common thing for kids as well. Like it's okay to feel like that.
Yeah.
Like, but you don't spread it. Go fix it, deal with it. And if it's something I can talk about with you, let's talk about, like that right there. That's how we need to raise our children.
It
At this
reminds
point,
me
I
of
feel like I need to
a
write
story
a
I
book.
was told yesterday by one of our friends. I was out at a friend's house last night, and one of my friend's wives has a girl who is, I don't know how, probably she's maybe 7, 6, 8, somewhere there.
Hey, it's a lot of ages.
It's a child that is running around and talking, and anyway.
Could be 2, could be 18. Okay, anyway. Running around and talking. All right, so between 6 and 8.
Let's just say somewhere there, right? And she was telling us a story of how she was down one day, and the daughter came and asked her, "Mommy, why are you not feeling well? Why you seem kind of off?" And the instinct is to say, "No, everything's
I'm
fine.
okay, yeah.
I'm okay," but she was missing her mother.
Who? Mommy was missing her mother.
Mommy was missing her mother.
Okay.
And so she said, "Well, dear, I really miss my mother right now. And so that's what it is. I just miss my mother." And the child goes forward and gives her a hug and says, "Oh, you miss your mother? Let's give her a call. Let's text her. Let's do something. Let's do something together and talk to your mother."
Yeah.
And, it was like, oh, wow. And so she felt like, oh, if I would have just ignored it and said, "No, I'm fine," which
Yeah.
is society, which is norm, just to always say, "I'm fine," then the connection that she had with her daughter and being able to express herself, and I guess the word I'm looking for is being able to be vulnerable. A lot of times we decide that to be a positive person, to push forward and look like a machine, and to look like we're so successful, and to do all these things, we don't have to be vulnerable. We take the vulnerability out of the equation because of a certain persona we are trying to exemplify.
Yeah. And that kills us. That kills us as a society. It's not really good for us.
Yeah, so I believe it's okay to be positive.
Yeah.
To kind of sum it, in my opinion, to have a positive mindset is not a bad thing as long as you encompass vulnerability within that positive mindset, then you'll be able to explore your emotions.
Okay. That does make sense. But Sunny, how do you know? How do you know that you have toxic positivity?
How do you know that you have toxic positivity?
Yeah.
I don't know, when people just tune you out when you're just being positive.
I guess so. When you're in denial of negative emotions or sadness or anger, you may have positive
A toxic positivity.
toxic positivity. Thank you. Yeah, when you're in denial, when you're like and this is what we talked about this a little bit. When somebody is in, so it's like somebody has lost a loved one, like Akinya Boge said, it is well, or is it Mama
Susan.
I think it's Susan who
Kayla's
said that.
mom.
Kayla's mom. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's her. But yeah, when you lose a loved one, and then somebody says it's okay, it's not okay. Like, allow me to have, and we're all human, and it's okay to have multiple emotions at the same time. Sadness, anger, it is totally fine to have. But when you find yourself, so for example, God forbid, it's me who's in that demise, and you're encouraging me and telling me it's okay. No, you don't have to do that. We don't always have to be positive. You can just sit with somebody and tell them, whatever you're going through, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
And that's enough. They may say, "You're here for me, go get me." You can ask, "How can I be here for you?" It could be, "Go get me water."
Yeah.
It could be, but let them process the
Within
sadness,
themselves.
the anger, the whatever. Yeah, within themselves. And also, like, you feeling like, "Hey, tomorrow will be better." You don't tell me what tomorrow will be. Now that's being toxic positivity. You know what I mean?
I see.
And also it said like frustrations and loneliness and all that kind of stuff, negative emotions, when they're stifled and pushed down, and they're replaced with false happiness and upbeat optimism. It's like, siski feeling, I don't feel bad. Yeah, I'm good. You're good. Yeah, you're then. Yeah, let's do this. No.
Yeah.
It's okay. If you feel bad, you feel bad. That's like, allow yourself to have these emotions. And how do you handle toxic positivity? Do you know, like, how would you handle it? For example, we just talked about one, letting people deal with emotions and not trying to overcompensate with positive
Positive,
words
yeah.
and positive vibes. Do
In
not
other words, just empathize.
empathize.
Yeah.
You don't have to fix the situation. Do not try to suppress your genuine emotions as well. That's how one way to handle it. And also be realistic with any sort of timeline that you may set for yourself. You know, when people say sometimes you may have like even like the loss of a loved one, for example, in this case, be realistic with a timeline. Say, okay, I've grieved for a month, 2 years. Like, be realistic. Sometimes, and I know I have a problem with this, sometimes people will grieve for 10 years. I'm not saying there's a problem with it. But if we're having to talk to you in the 10 years the way we spoke to you in the first 2 days, there's a problem. Like, you have to allow you can't live in that moment of sadness forever. Now, that's a problem too.
You have to allow yourself to heal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know for me, I know I lost my dad and I was a mess for a while. But it got to a point, I was like, shit, I mean, I'm constantly crying over the same thing. Mm-hmm. I'm constantly in pain over the same thing. Like, I couldn't understand. There were questions left unanswered. No. And I was beating myself. I was like, listen, the man is gone. He's not going to be able to answer these questions. And the pain, I'm renewing it every morning.
Yeah.
Granted, it's not like it disappeared. I was like that and it's gone. But I was telling myself, you have to really honestly be realistic with yourself, because he's not coming back. He's not going to answer the questions. And you look as miserable as you did the past 3 months. Like, what do you have to do? Like, you have to take charge of
But that takes into consideration the fact that you identify your emotions and you figure out how to deal with them. Some people have emotions and they never identify those emotions. Like in your situation of someone that is grieving for 10 years.
Yeah.
They haven't identified that this emotion is draining them.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Mm-hmm.
And then, so they haven't figured out that they need to fix this because they don't see like anything is wrong.
Yeah. That
I
makes
keep
sense.
hitting this thing.
The microphone, you have beef with the mic. But yeah, like how to handle toxic positivities. Give yourself a timeline. Don't say, kesho ndakwa. Like, give yourself a timeline, I guess. Even with grieving. Grieving. Give yourself a timeline. You'll be okay in the next, however long. Like, give yourself a timeline.
Linda says, I don't think we should give a timeline for grieving. People grieve in different ways. People heal slowly.
Yeah, not a timeline for grieving. I feel like it should be a timeline for you to... It is a timeline for grieving. It is what it is.
But also, people, in general, whatever you're going through, it's very important to identify your emotions and your feelings.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I went through a roller coaster of emotions last week.
Yeah. All right. You are suffering from mental health and I was not aware.
No.
God, I'm so sorry.
I'm not going to drag this on, but I was getting an overload of information and I had to decide where I stand and where my career stands and all these different... I had an overload of emotions. And what made me make the right decision was identifying which emotion means what.
To you.
And overall, what's the big picture. And when I identified that, everything became clear as day and I was able to make a concise decision. I was able to make a concise decision. I was able to communicate this decision with the people that were involved in this decision. And then I was able to announce my decision. It's because I was able to identify these feelings within me.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know if any of you are listening, but I will not be performing at the Dallas Memorial weekend. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying about that. But again, I was able to identify. I could have kept rolling around and feeling anxious and rolling around in those emotions.
Right.
But what did it for me is identifying my emotions and understanding what the bigger picture is. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
It makes total sense. Akinya Boge said, it took me 20 years to identify that the loss of my parents has been paralyzing me. I'm now able to slowly work on healing. Amen to that. It does, you realize you have a timeline. Well, however long it takes you to realize, I think that's the most important thing. That's what I'm pushing here, I guess. It's not timeline for grieving, really. It's timeline to identify. Like, honestly, even me, it didn't take 1 month or two, quite honestly. It took a long time, but identifying that, dude, I'm just I would talk about my father the entire time I meet with people. Like, we have other things to talk about, but we'll listen
Yeah.
to you. Like, you exhaust your friends. It's been years. It's life. You have to decide what happens next. Again, I'm not a whatever therapist, but you kind of get what I mean.
There's a comment here that brings into light something you had said earlier.
Yeah.
Pyle says, we don't need to be there to fix things for every situation. Sometimes people just need to be heard.
Yes.
And it reminds me of something you had said earlier about offering unsolicited advice.
Yes. Oh my God. And even I'm guilty of that.
We all are.
We all mean it in a good way.
But it does more
But
wrong
sometimes
than it
not
does
good.
right sometimes. Yep. Just offering advice when it's not really solicited. If someone asks you, Ida, what do you think I should do about this?
No, that's
different.
solicited. Yeah. You want
As
to know my
opposed to
opinion.
someone saying, man, I'm going through this. And
Me,
they're
what
just-
I can tell you is stop doing that. Now that's unsolicited.
Correct.
They're just explaining what they feel.
Sometimes all they want is a listening ear. And here you go. And it goes back to active listening.
Yeah.
Where usually when someone is talking, you're just constantly trying to figure out how do I respond
Yes.
versus absorbing what is being told to you.
Right. And we also talked about something, Sunny, just before we started the podcast. And it was when I'm telling you a story, and and then I hurt my leg, and then I went to work, and this guy said this. You're like, you know what? Even me, it happened to me. We do that a lot.
All the time.
I mean, even I'm guilty of that. But again, we said, I saw a post on Facebook, and somebody was saying, if I've ever brought up I think I even shared it. I don't even know who the person was. But if I ever bring up a story relating to your story when you're telling me something, please understand that I'm not trying to take the attention from you. I'm trying to make you realize that I listen to you, I hear you, and I relate to you. Now, that's a very, very thin line because you could miss that. You could really miss that. So I guess the biggest challenge
if
for us...
someone says something that is like your story, doesn't it mean that they were actually listening?
That's that in me, where I come from, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But I guess it's looked at as, you always have a story to relate to a story. For me, if I don't tell you a story to relate to your story, my friend, I didn't listen. I don't care. But if I tell you, I swear, that's who I am. I relate to people so much to a point it's even too much. You know what I mean? I'm like, even me, I feel you. I feel people. If I tell you a story near your story, or once it happened to me too. Now I care, and I'm trying to.
I'm wondering,
build
would
up.
it help if at the end of telling your story that relates to, say you tell me something,
Yeah.
and I tell you, even me, and then what if I ended it with, but mine wasn't like that though.
That would be best. And also, I think one thing that may help would be, wow, I hear you.
Yeah.
And maybe say, I've gone through something like that, not to the extreme level you have, but in my case, this, and this. You know what I mean?
Or what if you tell me something, and then I say something like, something similar actually happened to me, and leave it there. And then if you say,
what happened?
Tell me more.
Yes.
Then,
I think that's a better approach. Or also, Sunny, another thing that may be looked at better would be, don't interrupt me when I'm telling my story.
Yeah.
Don't be like, me too. No. Let me finish and be like, your story reminded me of. And, excuse me, like I said, we all do it. We all do it, but it's frowned upon. So Pyle said, framing it such, would it help if I shared my experience? Oh, God, you should write a book.
Yep.
That is so good. I never thought about that. Yeah, it would be nice if I asked you instead of just telling you my story.
Oh, true. Just saying, hey.
Would it help if I shared my experience?
Yeah. It kind of goes along with something I had heard on Clubhouse again the other day.
Yeah.
Where people were saying, when you're late and you go somewhere.
Yes,
Have
I
you heard
do
of
that.
this one? What do you
Go
do?
ahead. The when you're late, you come and say, instead of apologizing for being late,
Late.
you come and say, "Oh, guys, thank you so
Thank
much
you so
for
much for
waiting for
waiting."
me."
Yeah.
And I do that now. Because now it makes them. How does it make these other people feel? Like you're not on the wrong, but you validate their waiting. And you validate their being there early. You're like, hey, thank you so much for waiting.
It kind of takes the frustration away.
Yes.
Yeah.
You say, I was caught up in traffic. I really appreciate you guys waiting. And that's wonderful. And just to wrap it up, basically, don't silence your emotions. I think that's the bigger picture here we're trying to say. Don't silence your emotions. Don't be avoiding your emotions. It's okay. And we live this journey. We learn together. Make mistakes. How else are you going to learn?
Yep.
Me, I'm a lover of mistakes because they teach me something. I don't intentionally try to make mistakes, but if I do, it is there. It happened. But you learn from your mistakes. I mean, all in all, you want to be seen as a strong person and a pillar of hope for others at all the time. We understand that. That's positivity. But also allow yourself to have room to be human, to have room to be like, yeah, I am this positive person, but today this is happening. And if you're a public figure, I would say, and public figures who post memes of strong, sometimes tell people, I'm suffering, this is how I deal with it, It kind of helps the people, your followers and the people who look up to you, be like, you know what, even Sunny has bad days. Because you never know who's watching and what kind of encouragement they need from you.
Next time I have a hangover, I'll post a selfie.
Maybe not that kind of destructive
okay.
problems. Unless you post yourself drinking turmeric magic, which if you use our code, you get 10% off.
Yes.
So don't forget to order yourself turmeric magic. After this, nakunywa turmeric. Mko nayo kwa fridge nikunywe yenyu.
Nilimaliza leo asubuhi.
Guy, itabidi tu order.
Yep. I would rather be with someone who acknowledges they make mistakes than someone who thinks they're perfect.
Yes.
In my circle.
That's true.
Yep.
I mean, I make mistakes, y'all. I have a ticket to make free mistakes.
Yeah, we all make
Sunny,
mistakes. I make
ready.
mistakes. Now
It's
we're
true.
down to the music hour.
We're down to the music hour. We got new music.
Minutes.
How many
It's
minutes?
not a whole hour. It's like a few minutes.
We said music hour, like we have music to play the whole hour.
Yep. So,
Kwani ni session ya DJ Sunny?
Anyway, I have some music here that was sent to me by Odu Orlando.
Odu Orlando.
He's a Kenyan-based artist and does Afro hip-hop.
Oh, nice.
He released a 6-track EP a few days ago. It's a fusion of Afro beats and hip-hop. And it has some bilingual lyrics from Luo to Swahili to English.
Yes, here for it.
It has a little bit of Zulu. And I listened to a couple of these songs. And I have one here that I'm going to play. I'll probably play the next one after that too. It says, Mia Kwa.
Niakwa. Siwaambie uambie Mkikuyu.
M-I-A.
Oh, it's nini,
Q-W-A.
guys. It is actually Kijaluo.
I'm not sure what it means.
Shame on this Kikuyu for trying to
But
take it.
I will play it here. And I'd like to see what you guys think about it. So here we go.
God give me guidance. I am getting lost in the silence. Still riding but I'm off balance. Everything around is overwhelming and I know you can never leave my soul. Even when it's getting cold, your hand will ever hold. I am not alone. You don't know where I'm from. I am not just trying to make a song. It has been my heart all along. If you don't know, now you know. Coming from Dicker Town. Trying to make a life for myself. Hey, always forgetting you have a plan. Hey, now I'm in this place once again. Hey, and I'm so glad that you came.
When I took a look around, I am lost and found. I wanna hear your sound. Me a quay. When I take a look around, I am lost and found. I wanna hear your sound.
It's official. Ida drinks more than me.
Me a quay.
Oh, so it's actually Mia Quay.
Mia Quay.
Yep. And that was Mia Quay. I'm going to play another song called Kanyo by the same artist. And here it is.
I'm on my way. I don't worry about a thing. Never run away. I don't stress about a thing. I'm on my way. I don't worry nawe. I don't stress about a thing. Ati you ma take monda chokanyo. Aringo ma take monda chokanyo. Ale mo ma take monda chokanyo. Kanyo 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 kanyo. Ati you ma take monda chokanyo. Aringo ma take monda chokanyo. Ale mo ma take monda chokanyo. Kanyo 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 kanyo. I just wanna say I'm grateful for the things I have. I get to yesumbele okadokche no kanya. The Lord has been with me since day one. I don't wanna lie. Abako ingi nekende longo ni nyasai. Ati yo matek monda chokanyo. Alemo matek monda chokanyo. Ati yo matek mon mama odak my bed. I get out anye gari wadak my leg. Pile pile analemo nyalo longa ni jalemo. I don't wanna complain, no. Work hard, play hard, and pray more. Ati yo matek monda chokanyo. Aringo matek monda.
Hey,
Kanyo. Aye.
that is Kanyo. I got one more called Mac Lueta.
Maklueta.
I'm not sure if I'm saying it right.
Somebody tell us what Kanyo means as we listen to this one.
Fern Elizabeth, me and you both. Jeep Drop Top, California, and do your 20.
Shaki wenzangu wakifly, but me niko grounded. At some say I'm losing my mind, I feel like I'm stranded. Yeah, and you know, I know that I have been trying. And we know, I know, sikusila. Ka worth money worth koda, ka die chiro idi koda. Otieno kanindo inin koda, kimoro katimo ibet koda. Yeah, worth money worth koda, ka die chiro idi koda. Otieno kanindo inin koda, kimoro katimo ibet koda. Yeah, time, I feel I'm wasting time, now but I don't see I get a dime. Yes, I lemo mondi konya okaloro denga.
Woo!
And those were 3 songs by
Teramos. Kuja pole pole ndugu yetu yawanyathiwa umechoma.
Odu Orlando. Those are 3 songs from a 6-song EP. I don't have the other 3 songs yet. But go look for him. He didn't send me any YouTube links or anything like that. But I will ask for them.
How do you spell his name? I think that would be helpful. Like
Oduh Orlando.
in one word?
No, 2 words. Oduh is the first name and the last name is Orlando.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down there on the comment section.
Yep.
And I'm gonna pin it for you guys to go search for him on YouTube. He is, I mean, quite honestly, you can't even fight that. His music is amazing.
It's pretty good.
It's really good. Go check him out. Show some love. Tell him when you go to his YouTube, comment down there and say Sunday Wind Down sent you. Okay?
Yep.
Don't forget to say Sunday Wind Down sent me here. And so that he can feel the love from you, the Sunday Wind Down audience. We love and appreciate you.
Yep, and remember, today's episode was brought to you by Turmeric Magic. Use the discount code Sunday Wind Down for 10%
10%
off. 10 whole percentages.
Imagine, Kumi, you guys, I'm seeing they were selling out of some different flavors. Please, they need to restock because we're coming in strong. Oh no, we're coming in hard.
And don't forget to follow us
Yes.
on YouTube at Sunday Wind Down, Instagram at Sunday WD
Podcast. Don't forget to follow Sunny at Sistuki on all his platforms. Don't forget to follow me at Ida_Alicia on Instagram, on YouTube, here on Facebook as well. I'm not very active on Facebook, but anyways, don't forget to follow us on Spotify. We have Sunday Wind Down Podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcast and Google Podcast as well.
Yep.
Akinya Boge, we see you. We love you, girl.
And Sunday Wind Down fans, I have a birthday party coming up on May 23rd.
Yes.
That is actually my birthday. May
Imagine.
23rd.
A child was born. Mnamwona hivi mnadhani alikoholewa, alizaliwa. You guys, we are having a party. It's going to be on the May 23rd.
It's a day party.
It's going to be Bits and Brunch. I got you, boo. I'm going to do this one here. It's your birthday. You sit down, relax, and enjoy. It's going to be a day party. We call it Bits and Brunch. Usually we have Sunny DJ because, you know, he's our favorite DJ. But this time we're going to have Terry the Hippie come and DJ for Sunny's birthday for Beats and Brunch. We're going to have the DC crew in the building. We're going to have an Atlanta crew in the building. We still have
We also have
100
Dallas crew in the
Dallas
building.
clue. Itabidi mkuwe clue in the building. But you guys, you have to buy your tickets early because we still have 100 spots only 100 spots because we are still working at half capacity and there's no ticket sales at the door. So please make sure you get your tickets early. Akina Pablo Zengu tuta meet in person ama tutaka tukicheza hii game internet.
I know, right?
You guys, you have to show Fan Elizabeth, take a flight. Tutakuja ulale hapa kwangu haina neno. Aya, tutaonana.
umamibrunch.eventbrite.com.
And make sure you follow both our pages. We're going to have the poster up as soon as we end this podcast so you guys can see that.
Yep.
Right.
Till next time, guys. Not next Sunday, but the Sunday after that. Yes. See you for episode 8.
Yes. Woo!
Sunday wind down, Ida with the voice on the speaker, Sunny on the mic and it's all round.
Conversations are bigger, so fill my cup. I'm already tuned in all the way up. Can't stop listening up.
Sunday wind down.
Na Sunny haezi imba. Aida ndio wanaimba.
Yes, you know I'm listening. Sunday wind down. Yes, you know I'm listening. Good thoughts in the evening. Yes, you know I'm listening. I'm okay when I hear your voices. I'm okay when I hear your voices. Working from Monday to Sunday, 7 o'clock till I'm on out. Hustle, I can make an anthem. Give me a break, let me walk out.
Trying my best to stay sober all over the weekend. I know grass is only greener when you water. So after the grind I go.
Sunday wind down. Yes, you know I'm listening. Good vibes in the evening. Yes, you know I'm listening.